What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Connect Wednesdays, episode 89. Welcome. My name is Bobbitt, co-founder of Skyton Academy. And for those of you who do not know, and this is your first time ever tuning in with us live or watching this replay, Connect Wednesdays is a segment that we've been doing for many moons, right? Basically, we break down everything that's going on in terms of the future of finance, cryptocurrency, blockchain, AI, etc. We tie it together. We give it to you unfiltered, unscripted, raw, straight from the hip. And we give you guys our expert insights and we just tie it all together to make it really understand and stand out for every single one of you. All right. So we greatly appreciate you if this is your first time out here watching. For those of you who catch this on replay, make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel, likes, subscribe, share with your community, comment, all that good stuff. All right. So without further ado, episode 89. We're going to call this one The Blueprint Beneath the Chaos, the Rothschilds, Dalio, and the Quiet Rise of Crypto Infrastructure. All right, so before I really get into the steak and potatoes of this live talk, I want to go over something that just kind of hit my ether. And I wanted to express that this is important, right? And this just basically rings the bell of I told you so, right? So me and Steve, we do this thing where we give out nuggets, we give out gems all the time, and we're basically putting you on to things before they happen. It's a visionary aspect of us, right? And we're able to pinpoint certain projects, certain advancements, certain collaborations, etc. And they always mean something for the person who's properly positioned or the person who's really just paying attention to what's going on in the industry around them, right? Their focus is really on what's going on. So we figured because we are big advocates for HBAR, Hedera hash graph, I wanted to tie some news together, right? And I let the cat out the bag a little early, but it's all good. So, Nvidia, right? You all know who this is. Nvidia is the microchip giant. They are the reason that the stock market is even being held up. I think today we just lost another $1.5 trillion or something like that, or $1 billion in losses again. Listen, it's going to continue to happen, right? Crypto is where it's at, and I'm not, not knocking stocks at all. If you guys know how to play that game, play it correctly, run up your bag, but just make sure you guys are diversified. But I say all that to say that artificial intelligence, blockchain technology, distributed ledger tech, and cryptocurrency are the future of finance, right? You're already starting to see the infrastructure being built. You're starting to see the puzzle pieces connect. And news like this is exactly what should let you know is actually occurring. All right. So we're going to dive into this seismic shift that just hit the tech and the crypto world like a lightning bolt. Nvidia, the trillion-dollar AI titan, they just announced a 500 billion with a B investment plan to build artificial intelligence supercomputers and expand infrastructure right here domestically in the United States. So let me say that again. $500 billion is being poured into AI hardware, data centers, edge compute systems, and training the future of intelligent machines. But this isn't just about chips, tech, or headlines. This is about the future of trust, the future of automation, and the foundational role of blockchain in the next evolution of civilization. And at the center, that's the trust layer. That's Hedera hash graph. So let's zoom in. Why does this move from Nvidia even matter? All right. So before Trump came in, nobody was really talking about artificial intelligence, but it was making its waves through certain Fortune 500 companies and the underground world. And then it got into our hands. We were able to utilize it, experiment with it. And basically, what they were doing was using us as the samples to be able to train their large language models, right? We did so. People started getting comfortable with various applications. They started building stuff. They started to implement it into their businesses and their day to day life. And what happened? Right? A bunch of different companies took the information that we fed our large language models or these AI bots and these chats, and then they created even better products, even better applications. And they did it cheaper, they did it faster than their competitors, right? And then this is just the way of tech. It's always going to be this way, right? We just got a front row seat to it in advance. Soon as Trump got elected, He came into office. What did he say? He said crypto, blockchain, and AI was all going to be right here in the United States. And it was going to make the United States a hub, a super hub in essence. And he held true to his word. Now, when you look at that, you kind of respect it. She's like, all right, this is a man of his word. Everything that he said he was going to do beforehand, or right when he got into office, we gave you the heads up. The first 100 days was going to be pivotal. He held true to his word, right? But this move right here, this was powerful because this wasn't just an experimentation, right? This Nvidia investment and them doing the infrastructure building here nationally, this isn't like an experiment anymore. This is really happening. So that announcement and that $500 billion blueprint is going to allow manufacturing here in the United States of all AI supercomputers. They're going to build out a domestic network of AI training data centers, which is going to be huge, right, for AI here in the AI race war. Um, we got powering everything from finance, defense, healthcare, smart cities, logistics, etc. And the US is officially treating artificial intelligence like a strategic asset. And Nvidia is basically leading that charge, right? So you got the biggest tech player utilizing this biggest technology, and it's going to be all done right here in the US. What do you think that's going to do to the US economy? What do you think that's going to do for jobs? What do you think that's going to do for the war, the tech war that's going on right now? A lot of people just aren't talking about it. This brings everything right to your front door. There's a lot of opportunity that's going to exist. So while everybody is like, dealing in the emotions of prices and the different markets going up and down because of tariffs and just all kinds of random events that are taking place, just understand there's a silver lining in all of this. And if you're front row and you're really paying attention to what's happening, you're going to position yourself wonderfully. All right. So here's where things get a little deeper. As the AI models get faster, they get smarter and more embedded into our day-to-day lives, there's a question that's starting to rise to the surface. And for me, it rings true. I always ask myself this question: can we trust what artificial intelligence tells us? Because if AI is going to make life and death decisions, approve loans, drive vehicles, detect diseases, execute defense protocols, we better have a way to verify that the decisions that they're making are real, unbiased, and unmanipulated. So here's where you enter what's called verifiable compute, and you enter Hedera Hashgraph. So Hedera has been quietly collaborating with Nvidia, Intel, and Equity Labs to create something revolutionary. It's a framework that's going to allow AI outputs to be traceable, auditable, and provable, and cryptographically verifiable. So all of this is going to be powered by Hedera's public distributed ledger technology. This is going to give us immutable records of every AI decision and cryptographic receipts to prove it. So for those of you who do not know, immutable records just means something that can't be changed. Once it happens, once it takes place, we're able to verify it. And this can be done right on the blockchain. The same way we do with our transactions, we can go right onto let's say CoinMarketCap, and we go into Hedera. We pull up Hedera's ecosystem. You can type in your transaction ID from a transaction that took place on that Hedera blockchain, and you can see it. It can't be changed. It's timestamped. It shows the amount, where it went, the address it came from, etc. And you can do this all across every crypto blockchain, right? As long as they have an explorer that we can use and we have a transaction ID, snap of a finger, it's there. All right. Now, the thing is, you never want to get into a war of he say, she say, right? Especially when it comes to defense, when it comes to business, etc. Right? Especially as a lot of these things are going to be life or death, right? For some. And this is a big, big benefit. Now you can't just point the finger and say, oh, well, they said they did this. They said they did this. Now it's verifiable and nobody can change it once it happens. So this is a major, major key. All right. And having these receipts to prove it, super vital. So If you're new to this call and you've never heard about anything that we've ever talked about, you've never been on a cryptocurrency call with us or a .connect call with us, HBAR is a incredible cryptocurrency project. You can invest in it after you do your research. This is not financial advice. We're just telling you that Hedera Hashgraph has a coin and it's HBAR is the ticker. All right. Now, this isn't just theory. This is real infrastructure that's being rolled out, and Hedera is already live in the enterprise arena. So there was an article from a group called Hive Mind Capital. And basically, they stated that enterprise blockchain has been a long time coming, but the pieces are finally starting to fall into place. They're finally starting to come together. And guess what? Every single one of those pieces are underpinned by transparency and immutability from Hedera. So we're going to talk about the implications of this. So this Nvidia investment isn't just bullish for AI, right? This is far deeper than artificial intelligence itself. This is a flashing green light for crypto adoption, but not the kind that crypto people, are typically expecting, right? Not Bitcoin, not a hype coin, not a meme coin, but real infrastructure grade projects that solve real world problems for real industries, especially now that AI requires a verification layer. Now, this could be the very catalyst that increases institutional demand, which we already see it. If you know anything about Hedera's governing council, those guys are all big behemoths globally that run the world. So if you've never ever done any deep dives, any research on Hedera itself, and again, this is not financial advice. I want you guys just to do your own research. I'm just bringing you guys some really important data right now, and I want to give it some context. I want you to look and see who is on the governing council. One player is LVMH. I want you to look who all of the companies that are within the LVMH brand and ecosystem. That in itself is a game changer. Now imagine all of the other players who are invested and who are all part of that governing council. It's absolutely insane. All right. But back to focus. This is going to drive HBAR network usage through the roof. And over time, this is going to impact the token's velocity, the on-chain fees, and of course, the price action, right? I know there's a lot of people who are only fixated on price action. Before you get the price, you have to see the utility. You have to see the value inside of a project before you just fixate solely on a price. All right, that's just a major nugget. And as governments, hospitals, banks, Fortune 500 companies, etc., they all begin to integrate this artificial intelligence, they are going to need blockchains that can actually handle trust at scale, not speculation. I'm talking about absolute verification. And Hedera Hashgraph is already doing it. All right. So let's zoom out just a little more, right? This is part of a larger convergence that most people aren't ready for. And I mean that truly. The fusion between artificial intelligence and decentralized trust infrastructure, you're going to start seeing tokenized AI models where you can buy and verify access to specific data sets. You're going to start seeing AI governance protocols running on public ledgers, government grade compliance systems using Hedera for audit trails, and you're going to start seeing smart contracts that power smart machines. Now, we already have the Internet of Things that exist. You have smart devices, just like you have smartphones. You got smart toasters, smart microwaves, smart refrigerators. It's all happening, right? Now, there's going to be a blockchain. There's going to be a symbiotic relationship that gets formed where there's a connection point between all things, how they are integrated, how you can basically import payment rails and payment systems into your smart devices where you can basically click and tap certain buttons and be able to order things and have it delivered right to your house, or have certain things put on your calendar and sit straight to your phone or your computers. This is what is all happening. The world is digitizing. And while everybody is watching the charts and the influencers, the builders are actually setting the foundation. And this is what we mean when we say dot connection. Because the real value of a crypto isn't hype, it's in what nobody sees. until it's already running the system. Now, let me give you guys the vision ahead. In the next 24 to 36 months, you're going to start to see a wave of collaborations that blend AI interface engines, real world sensors, blockchain verification, decentralized compute layers. And you're going to have projects like Hedera that are going to verify and audit. You've got Singularity Net, Fetch AI, Ocean Protocol. That's going to be for decentralized data and model marketplaces. You guys are going to be able to see DPIN networks, Helium. We already gave you that one. And it's going to support edge intelligence, right? And my phone, Steve's phone, we use our smartphones right now. The service that we have right now is through Helium Mobile, right? The same exact service that you guys are getting through AT&T and all that stuff. We're utilizing this network right now to be able to not only earn rewards, but we're a part of a cryptocurrency ecosystem. So we're actually supporting the utility of which it was built on, the actual infrastructure. All right. So this is what we mean by being actually involved. And we're doing this on a personal level. Now, zoom out and look at it in terms of companies, governments, big entities. The companies that will win will be the ones that can do three things. They're going to deliver on that real world utility. They're going to be able to support regulation and transparency, and they're going to be able to integrate AI into the heart of their infrastructure, right? That's what Nvidia is doing with that $500 billion move. So it literally just signaled that this is mission critical innovation that's happening right now. And Hedera's position is the next phase that most people really don't even realize. So I'm gonna leave y'all with this. While everybody's talking about Bitcoin being known, right? Bitcoin is like the Nike of crypto, right? It's the first one. It's the most notable. You have Ethereum, quote unquote, being versatile, but it's still in beta. But then you got Hedera, and Hedera is all about trust. And in the AI era, trust is currency, right? This is bigger than crypto or AI. This is about shaping the future of how decisions are made, verified, and actually believed. All right. So when I'm giving you guys this nugget before we go into what's next, just pay attention. There are projects out here that are not your meme coins, they're not your hype coins. You actually have to do research on to see the value in them. But once you do the research and you actually see what these projects do, what they're about, what they're building, how they're infusing themselves into all markets globally, those are the plays that you definitely want to start paying attention to, because those are the ones that are going to definitely give you a better vantage on future wealth. And it's definitely not just a Bitcoin, right? But I still want every single one of you guys to make sure you're doing your own research. I'm not here to just promote a project, I'm not here to shill it. I just want to give you guys some nuggets as I see it. All right. Now that big news from AI is out the way, I'm hearing chatter. I'm hearing an actual red alert. I don't know how true this is. I just need you guys to pay attention, because you know what we do here on Connect Wednesdays. Our job is to basically decode everything that's going on in the world. And there's rumor mill from one of the most respected minds in global finance, who basically just issued a red alert warning. And he said that the global markets are about to crash. Now, this news came out 48 hours ago. 48 hours later, we lost another, I think it was a billion or 1.5 trillion, something like that. Don't quote me. I haven't been following the stock today, but the market is down bad and it's bleeding. All right. So this red alert, this came from Ray Dalio. Now, again, this is the man, for those of you who do not know, this is the man who predicted Japan's collapse, the 2008 financial crisis that happened here in the United States. And he predicted the US-China economic war and issued a brand new chilling warning. Now, whenever you hear the name Ray Dalio, you definitely want to pay attention, because the billionaires do. right? He's a money guy. He's a visionary. He's able to see things that the average person isn't seeing, right? His mind works a little different. So tonight, we're going to go beyond the headlines and we're going to uncover what this actually means for you, your money, the future of crypto in the face of a global market collapse. So buckle up, strap in, because the old system is unraveling. And those who don't pivot early may not be able to pivot at all. All right. So let's go over the US debt to GDP ratio, right? It just hit 122%. This is a level that we never seen since World War II. All right. The government is spending more money on interest payments than the national defense. That's insane, right? That's like maxing out all of your credit cards and using a payday loan to pay off the minimums. So Ray Dalio calls this the end of the debt super cycle. We run out of the room to basically borrow without consequence. And this is a pure fact. In 2024 alone, the US paid $1 trillion with a T in interest, not in principal, just interest. That's not sustainable. The system itself is breaking, it's cracking, and the Fed can't print its way out of this one. So I know you guys heard and seen today, Mr. Money Printer. You see him come out talking about, oh yeah, there's gonna be some easing going on with the banks and crypto, and it's good that stable coins are gonna get their their rules, their lay of the land, if you will. Listen, we knew this was coming. Trump ordered this already, but we knew this was coming even before Trump got into office. This is the one thing that institutions, fintechs, this is what everybody has been waiting for the longest. All we needed was regulations, and it's happening right now. But in this moment, this is the storm, and it's a perfect storm. All right. So Ray Dalio's latest model basically highlights three converging crises. All right. And I'm going to give you just short and sweet. Exploding debt and a weak monetary policy. You had international political division, basically a soft civil war, if you will. And then the third is going to be global conflict and de-dollarization. So I'll break these down. So the Fed is trapped. Raise rates, the debt becomes unpayable. Cut rates, inflation surges. Domestically, trust in the government is at historic lows. The 2024 election cycle, it led to 35 plus legal battles, street protests, rising threats of violence, etc. And then internationally, the US is locked in a brand new Cold War with China over chips, AI, trade, and territory. And we're all seeing it right now with these tariffs, right? And we've never seen all three of them unfold all at one time. The last time we came close to that was in the roaring, what was that, the 30s, right? And that was the ending of the war and depression. So now let's get into the economic power keg, right? This is with China, AI, and basically a global chessboard. Now, 60% of the global commerce flows through the South China Sea. China's been ramping up its military and economic posturing in that region. Taiwan is the flashpoint. So a single conflict in Taiwan itself could shut down semiconductor production. You got TSMC. They control 90% of the high-end chip output. All right, so that would cripple the industry, period. You got global shipping routes, commodity trade, and energy flows. One naval blockade equals global recession overnight, literally 24 hours. Ray Dalio's team calls this the geopolitical blind spot of the average investor. If you think this won't affect you, just remember what happened to the Ever Given ship incident in the Suez Canal, right? One ship jammed up the entire global economy. Now imagine that, but weaponized, using that as an actual tactic. All right. Now, I don't want to go too far, right? But what I did notice when I was doing my research, Ray Dalio himself, right, as he's giving these nuggets to the world, he's letting people know what's happening. He's actually making moves. He was doing something. So again, this guy he's him when it comes to the world of finance. Bridgewater Associates is the fund that they run. They're shifting a lot, right? Increasing the exposure to gold. Hello. What have we been telling you guys since it was $1,300 an ounce? Diversify, get into your commodities. We have Glint pay for that. Sonia, please drop that for them who are live on this chat. Those of you, I know many of you guys are already inside the academy, but that is a hedge. Anytime there's economic uncertainty, they always go to commodities. So he's increasing the exposure to gold. He's investing, well, they're investing geopolitical neutral markets, right? They're hedging against inflation and they're lowering the US centered risks. In fact, they're increasing the gold exposure by 15% in 2025 alone. Because every single time there's a time of chaos, gold always becomes the safe haven. And while everybody's chasing tech stocks and meme coins, Dalio is hedging like war is about to happen tomorrow. All right. So, what does this mean for crypto itself? Right? Because this is what we do here at Skyton Academy. Of course, we do other things, but crypto is our bag, right? So let's pivot a little bit because this is where most people's ears perk up, right? Is crypto the answer? Should I buy Bitcoin? Should I buy more crypto? Now, I'm gonna give you Ray Dalio's take, and then I'll give you some more nuggets, right? He feels that Bitcoin is not to be seen as a currency, and I agree. Now, he coins it just like everybody else, quote unquote, digital gold. It's basically a hedge. It's not a replacement for fiat, but it's a hedge. So he acknowledges that Bitcoin has value in this world that's untrustworthy. It has untrustworthy governments and failing currencies, right? But he doesn't go all in, right? Basically, his take is Bitcoin is not quote unquote the play for most everyday investors, right? 65,000, 85,000, 90,000, 100,000 per coin is out of the reach for the average person. We all know that, right? It lacks true utility. It doesn't solve anything, doesn't do anything. It's literally a quote unquote store of value, but it's not a system of value, right? It's driven by hype, headlines, it's marketed, it's promoted. Like I said, it's like the Nike of crypto, right? There are other shoes that feel comfortable, that feel way better, right? But you just love the Nike aesthetic, right? And I'm not singling out Nike by itself, but you know what I mean. In terms of crypto, that's the same way. Most people don't even associate cryptocurrency with these thousands of crypto projects. They only know Bitcoin, right? Case in point, my mom may call me and say, I seen Bitcoins in the news, Bitcoin's up. And say, oh, I see you doing your Bitcoin thing today. So she's not versed in it. She doesn't know much about it. So he's looking at this from that paradigm because there's only 3 to 5% of the global population that's already invested in crypto. Most people only know Bitcoin. So for right now, that's the hype. That's the main headline, right? But let's go deeper. There's a Bitcoin bubble that's associated with this, right? And it's powered by Tether. So let's talk USDT. Let's talk Tether. All right. Now, this is the most widely used stablecoin in crypto, period. Most of you already know that. And when it comes to trying to purchase various cryptos, that's the predominant trading pair. That's why it has the biggest volume, right? Because it has so many trading pairs. USDT is supposed to be backed 1-to-1 with real dollars. But the truth is, it's been accused and proven of lacking full audits, right? It props up Bitcoin's value artificially, and it's under intense scrutiny from regulators globally now. And in case in point, MiCA. MiCA is Europe's new digital asset framework. And as of 2025, MiCA declared USDT non-compliant in the Eurozone. Why? Because USDT lacks full transparency from audits. It still has not proven that it's 1-to-1 backed with the dollar, right? And it didn't have proper registration under MiCA standards. So now that means, in short and sweet, that Tether is banned in Europe. And here's the kicker. It's not just about the Eurozone. Regulators in Asia, South America, even the US, they're all watching closely and they're all accepting and following the same standard of MiCA, right? So once those dominoes fall, USDT's dominance could absolutely vanish. And with it, what you think is going to happen with Bitcoin if Bitcoin's being artificially inflated? That price manipulation is going to dry up, right? So a lot of experts are speculating that Bitcoin's true price, without the artificial volume and leverage speculation, it could drop. And I mean nasty, 10,000, 20,000. And you've heard me and Steve say the same exact thing. This is viable. This can truly happen. Now, right now, the market is truly tethered to Bitcoin. Bitcoin has market dominance. So when Bitcoin falls, generally speaking, right, and this is not every single project, but most projects are tethered to Bitcoin. So if it drops, the market drops, right? Whenever Bitcoin drops down in price, the market just goes red. And of course, you're going to see those little plays here and there, right? You'll see them ringing green while there's a sea of red. But here is how smart investors have to look at it. If Bitcoin is not the play, right? And I'm telling you guys from my perspective, this is on Champ. This is my personal take. I never was a big fan of Bitcoin. I gave it its respect because of the underlying tech. And without Bitcoin, we wouldn't have a lot of these other crypto projects. But there are projects that do far more. They have far more value. They do so much more than what Bitcoin does because Bitcoin does nothing. Now, I'm going to just give you guys a nugget because I'm not here to preach. I'm not here to give you guys my take on it. If Bitcoin is not it, then what is it? That's the question you guys might have for me. All right. So first thing you want to look at, and this is for smart investors, you want to look at everything that's utility based, right? If it solves a real world problem, that is a project that you want to start investigating. You want to start exploring, do your own research, quiet the noise, follow the tools that we give you guys inside of Skyton Academy. If you do not know what those protocols are, if you're not familiar with it, it's $50 a month. The description down below of this video, you guys can click the link, sign right up. Everything is there for you. We hold nothing back. We don't gatekeep. And 99% of the people that's on this call right now, y'all can ask them a question in the chat. I'm pretty sure they'll answer it like that, right? We pour out, they learn, right? So as these protocols and this stuff exist, you also have to start looking into interoperability protocols. Now, what does that mean? That I word is one of my favorites. I'm all about collaboration, right? Steve gave me a nugget. He told me when you're answering questions, basically, if some one person has a problem, then that means it's a problem for everybody. So when you're looking at something and you're looking to solve a problem, you don't just pinpoint one problem, you pinpoint multiple problems, figure out what's the largest pain point, what's the easiest path to get to it, and then you figure out a way to collaborate with others to be able to solve everyone's problem at scale. Because that one person has one problem, but they might share that exact same problem with the rest of the world. So if you can solve it for one person, you figure out how to scale it, how to grow that problem-solving ability for everybody. That's interoperability protocols. Now, I'm not going to give you guys any plays for that because you guys already know, those of you who've been with me. Ripple is the company. XRP is the cryptocurrency, the digital asset, the only one with regulatory clarity that they utilize in their tech stack. They are incredible with interoperability. The XRP ledger is decentralized, which means anybody can work on it. Anybody can build a project or product on it and utilize it. It is going to forever be the king of interoperability protocols. So that's a nugget. The other ones, you either got to join the 1% or happy hunting, right? Everybody who's in the 1%, you guys know we lay it out on the line. All right. Next, you've got government aligned stablecoins. And because I was talking about Ripple, I'll just sprinkle in their stablecoin. And this is a government aligned stablecoin. This is an example. RLUSD. Right now, it's not available for the retail person, the everyday me and you person, but that is going to soon change. Right now, this is for governments and institutions, and it is government grade, right? It's government approved, which means it's about to go down. And if I just told you guys that Tether is on its way out of the Eurozone, and you had Asia, you had Latin America, and all these other places following suit with Mika, what do you think that means for Tether? That means Tether being the largest volume stablecoin. That volume has to go somewhere because people still have to transact. And if it's not government approved or aligned, then it's got to go out of USDT into where? Somewhere that's government aligned. Again, Ripple's RLUSD. Hello. See how we connect the dots? This is what Dot Connect Wednesdays is all about. All right. So next is going to go into stabilized assets, tokenized assets, real estate, commodities, equities. That's all going to be on chain. They're all going to be provided on the blockchain, on a decentralized ledger that everybody is going to be able to use. Now, how are they going to be able to use a ledger that's decentralized when everybody's in different places? Everybody has different currencies. You have to use a country agnostic, a project agnostic blockchain or distributed ledger, like the XRP ledger. You have to use something that can travel across borders in seconds to be able to satisfy the needs of every single party, right? Fast. This is where you have XRP that happens to be the only digital asset to have regulatory clarity on a decentralized ledger called the XRPL that also is building the stablecoin for the euro. And it's happening on the XRP ledger. Hello. So now we have RLUSD and we're building more stablecoins for other countries on the same ledger. Country agnostic. I'm screaming. I hope y'all paying attention. All right. So I'm giving you guys the play as I know it. When I tell you they're even going into something I despise truly, but it's already happening. They're even moving into CBDC rail layers. So you got HBAR, you got XRP. They're both powering the future of finance. Sadly, there are other nations who launched CBDCs. They're in the process of doing pilots or they've already launched the CBDCs, right? And you have to be able to know what these projects are doing, and then you have to figure out who they're connected with. It's all interoperability. But these plays are all better than Bitcoin because every single project that I named, they're all less than a couple dollars. Some of them are pennies. You can find the change in your cup holder. Again, I said for $50 a month, that breaks down, that's the price of the Skyton Academy membership. That breaks down to $1.66 every single day, right? But you're getting life-changing information for $50 a month. Now imagine when you get that information and you don't have fear and you actually execute on what we're telling you. When you execute, you now cancel out all the noise, all the nonsense. Everything that's frivolous is out the window because now you're dialed in. Because now you're thinking how the multimillionaires and the billionaires is thinking, right? Because that's how we're serving you this information. We're giving you tomorrow's information today to get you set up, right? All you have to do is pay attention, lock in, execute. And every single person that I've talked to from an institutional level, that's a big dog, to people in Dubai, just regular Emiratis that I've spoken to, when I mention Bitcoin, yes, they all clap for it. They all give it the thumbs up. Yeah, it's cool, right? But think about this. A lot of people were already in. They were early investors. They had first movers advantage. So the people who had first movers advantage, what do you think they paid to get into these projects like Bitcoin? years ago. Cents, pennies, a couple dollars, right? It was super cheap. Of course, they're going to champion Bitcoin because what do they want to happen? They want it to keep going up in price, right? But most of these people are in profit since $100. I know people personally who are multimillionaires who are buying Bitcoin at $100 and cheaper, right? So when I'm giving you projects like this that have interoperability play, that have decentralization, that have utility-based tokens, and they're all about just solving real-world problems. And the next phase of finance itself is tokenization, as foretold by Larry Fink, right? The largest asset manager in the world for BlackRock. He told y'all that it was going to be real estate, commodities, and equities. All of that stuff was going to be on chain. It was going to get a tokenized version. But who else told you that? That looked like us. Last time I checked, it was me and Steve. I ain't hear nobody talk. We've been talking about this for years. Been talking about tokenization. Years. It was us. And this is on record. This is .Connect Wednesdays, episode 89. Go back to .Connect Wednesdays, episode 15, 20, 19, 30. We've been talking about this. We've been preparing you guys for what's to come. So when the world starts to crumble and it feels like gloom and doom, it feels like, oh my gosh, like I'm about to panic. Why would you panic? You got all the news. You got all the info. You got everything that you need. Now is the time where you lock in and you become a pioneer, right? And I'm not saying this to hype anybody up. I'm just speaking from the core right now. That Bitcoin narrative is old. Yes, it's an OG. It's basically the MySpace of crypto. But the next wave is going to be built on utility, compliance, real integration with institutions, not hype, not halving cycles, and it's happening right now. So just keep this in mind. The world is changing super rapidly. Ray Dalio, he isn't a YouTuber. He's not an influencer. He's one of the most respected minds in global finance. And he's raising every red flag imaginable. But you don't got to panic because you guys got information. So all that means is that every single one of you guys need to do is simply prepare. So this isn't about fear. This is about foresight. Diversify, learn the landscape, stay ahead of the headlines. And most importantly, never, and I mean never, follow the crowd. Because by the time the herd moves, the opportunity is already gone. All right? Now, I could stop here. I feel good. But should I keep going? Y'all let me know in the chat. If y'all say keep going, I'm going to keep going. If not, I'm out. All right, cool. I'm going to keep going because I'm feeling charged. So let's go. All right, the stove is on. The burner's on. It's hot. So I'm going to keep cooking. All right, so I just came across a document that was super wild. And this is going to come from one of the wildest, most controversial families in the world. If Ray Dalio just told you that the global markets are about to crash, and that was just a warning, let's zoom in to see what happens if this collapse actually happens. Because Ray gave the warning about the end of the debt supercycle, the implosion of fiat, the decline of the US dollar dominance. But the Rothschilds, yes, those Rothschilds, they just sounded the alarm on something else entirely different. Quote unquote, blockchain, large scale adoption accelerated by supportive regulatory momentum. This blew my mind. For those of you who do not know, who are the Rothschilds? The Rothschild family is one of the oldest and most influential financial dynasties on earth. These guys are rooted in a lot of wickedness, but global banking that dates back to over like 250 years, right? So this is, yes, you all get it. The cabal, the clan, whatever you want to coin it, it is what it is, right? Not my opinion. This is just public sentiment, right? I read in the comments. Now, when they make a public statement, it's not hype. This is 100% signal. In 2025, their asset management division has made one of the most boldest statements we've seen yet. Over 50% of Fortune 100, Fortune 100 companies are executing a strategy based on blockchain technology. The large-scale adoption of this technology is underway and accelerating. Let me repeat that. Fortune 100 companies, the titans of global business, they're all integrating blockchain into their core operations. So again, this isn't about meme coin speculation, not even NFTs anymore. This is about infrastructure, the financial rails, and how the world is going to transact. So I'm going to give you guys some actual facts from this report, right? You know I got receipts. 4 bullets. 33 trillion in stablecoin transaction volume in the last 12 months. That's more than 2.5 times Visa's 2024 transaction volume. So every single one of y'all who got a debit card, when you reach into your debit card, if it got the Visa logo on it, 33 trillion in stablecoin transaction volume happened in the last year. We 2.5x'd what Visa did in 2024, just in stablecoin transaction volume. The iShares Bitcoin ETF, the IBIT, that exceeded its physical gold counterpart in assets under management within just a few months. Over 50 billion was raised by the US spot ETFs by the end of 2024. And this was confirming that the institutions, they had an appetite that was real, not hypothetical. And last but not least, the EU's MiCA regulation created unified rules for digital assets. Hong Kong, the UAE, and now even the US are under a new administration that's laying down frameworks to legitimize crypto as a financial pillar. This is regulatory clarity being written into law right in your face. And it's not speculation that's on Facebook or Twitter or something like that. This is really happening in real documents. So for everybody out there that's thinking about being an investor or who's already an investor in crypto, this is where it gets important, especially those wondering if now is the time to buy, sell, or fold. Ask yourself, why would the Rothschilds, Fortune 100 companies, BlackRock, Fidelity, Visa, all be building blockchain infrastructure during a sideways market? Because they're not looking at the price, they're looking at positioning. This is the infrastructure season, not the hype. I don't know about y'all, but I'm not folding. Most retail investors, they're all distracted by short-term red candles, seeing the sea of red, seeing these global markets just all crash, right? So when you see FUD, you see the volatility, people get scared and they get shooken out their position. But the power players, they all quietly are accumulating, building, integrating the very foundation of the new world of finance. And there's a reality check. When adoption is visible to the masses, it's already priced in, right? Right now, it's not. So this is the opportunity. So I'm gonna give y'all some insight. Let's put this into perspective, right? The blockchain infrastructure market is forecasted to exceed 1.2 trillion by 2030, right? Governments are already beginning to issue tokenized bonds on chain, right? On the blockchain. This is happening right now. Stable coins, real world asset tokenization, it's all becoming a new settlement layer right now, faster, cheaper, programmable. And here's what nobody wants to admit. This isn't about Bitcoin being 80K, 90K. This is about a technological transformation that's replacing the back end of the global financial system. This is why the Rothschilds are in already. They've been in. There was a report maybe back in 2016, 17. I could be off a year or two, right? So anywhere from 16 to 18 for sure. There was a report that showed that the Rothschilds was already invested in XRP. They already had it back then. If they knew what it was, and these guys are the head of the banking cabal, the head of the banking elites, right? This is what they do. If they was already invested in XRP, now they're telling you everything about blockchain itself. The hell you think is going on? You think these guys is asleep behind the wheel just throwing money at something? Man, listen. If y'all know what I know, this utility time, this utility season, this thing is inevitable, right? But again, Bitcoin isn't the play. It might be the OG. It might be seen as digital gold. But let's be honest. Most people can't afford a whole Bitcoin. And the real alpha is not the legacy tokens, but it's going to be utility-based projects with real-world adoption that solve real-world problems, right? It's going to be government-aligned protocols. You've seen Trump came out and he said, listen, there's going to be US-based cryptocurrencies that are all going to be the focus. He suggested you might want to look into these. Not financial advice, but he definitely threw that out there. He told people what it was. Now, if he laid out the breadcrumbs for you, all you had to do was do your what? Do your research, do your due diligence, quiet the noise. Don't pay attention to what everybody else is talking about because the opportunity is right in your face. Now, Bitcoin might be in the headlines, but the utility tokens, that's what's actually going to dominate real world use cases. So I'm going to leave y'all with this, and then I'm out. I'm going to do a mic drop, I'm out. While the retail is worried about could crypto go to zero, right? When Bitcoin crashes, what happens with my coins? Your paradigm is flawed. The Rothschilds are building corporations, they're integrating. The nations, they're all coming up with regulations to regulate. You don't got to chase the hype. You don't have to fixate on the price. You got to pay attention to the signals because the next phase of global finance is already being laid and you're already early to the party. So if you're watching this from the sidelines while history rewrites itself, you're doing yourself a huge disservice. My OG hit me with a quote. He said, I said, we were talking about finance and just money and things like that. And I said, listen, nothing is certain. He stopped me right in my tracks. My pop said, son, certainty does exist. And it was so simple, but so profound. And I said, damn, you know what? That's crazy. And then I thought about it. Certainty does exist, but it ain't going to live on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, the socials, the stuff that we being fed on TV, on the radio, etc. It lives in these high-level documents like this one from the Rothschilds. It lives in stable coins that's settling trillions of dollars. It lives in the institutions that's quietly preparing the future of finance right in our faces. And then I asked myself, damn, if the system really is dying, what's going to replace it? And I just smiled because it's already being built. I'm already teaching it with Steve. This is what we've been doing since 2015. And I said, if the Rothschilds are here and they're putting out documents for this, that was all the confirmation that I needed. I already had all the certainty I would have ever needed. But just seeing this actual report populate and come out and lay out these data facts, and let me drop this for y'all. Just everybody that's here, and I'll make sure I include it in a write-up because I want to make sure that y'all got that. am just blown away. This is the actual document, and I'm gonna drop this for y'all, and I'm gonna share my screen so y'all can see it, and then we out. Jonathan, don't worry. Boom, that's where you can find it, right there in the comments. Check this out, y'all. All right, hold on. You see this? Rothschilds and Co. I ain't making them nothing. It's all here, right in your face. Blockchain, large scale adoption accelerated by supportive regulatory momentum. When did this come out? March 26, 2025. What does it say right here? Over 50% of Fortune 100 companies are executing strategy based on blockchain technology. This technology is underway and accelerating. If I'm lying, I'm flying. And who do they mention in this joint? Hong Kong, the Europe, MiCA regulation, the whole Eurozone, the UAE, so the United Arab Emirates. This is Dubai. And what is Dubai right now? Dubai is the crypto hub right now of the world. This is where everybody is going to be able to invest. They didn't have to worry about all the economic blockages that was going on financially for anybody who wanted to build businesses for this industry. It all went offshore. But now, as soon as Trump came in office, he said, I'm going to make the United States the AI and crypto hub of the world. Is this not playing out right now? Do you guys not see what's happening? I don't know about y'all, but this right here, this gets me hyped. I'm beyond excited, but I know exactly what I've been preparing for since I came into this space. I'm a decade in. I got a super long time to go. And when I came across this information, even as I was prepping it to deliver it to you guys, I said, I don't think people truly see how powerful of a position and opportunity that's being presented to everybody right now. They can hear this information a million times over, and they can sit right in front of a cryptocurrency exchange on their phones. They could be logged in, whatever. And I'm like, yo, you could just easily take $20, park it in certain crypto projects, put them on a cold storage wallet, get them out of anybody else's way, right? And you just set yourself up for a completely different reality than you probably are even aware of. Bitcoin is at 90,000, 80,000 right now. It was people that was buying it when it was less than $100. It's videos of people when it was $1, when it was 50 cents, when it was 0.0006 of a penny, 6 thousandths of a penny. XRP was 6 thousandths of a penny. It's now $2 and some change. Do you understand what I'm laying down in front of y'all right now? Y'all don't hear me, man. Y'all don't hear me. Listen, the stove is hot. I'm about to go eat the food I just finished cooking. I don't know about y'all, but I enjoyed this. What I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to dig back into some more of these documents, and I'm gonna prepare for the future of finance, for this transition in this new world. So I don't know about y'all, but that concludes Dot Connect Wednesdays, episode 89. Next Wednesday, same time, same place, same location. We gonna whip up something crazy on the dish. I'm gonna serve it up. Y'all gonna enjoy it. So I see y'all next week. Big love. Replay will be available soon. Links are going to be in the description below. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. We're going to keep heating up. Love y'all. Skyton way. Peace.